Welcome to Represent. Today, I'm very happy to have a Canadian legend, a media personality who's done great things over the years. And it's my privilege to actually sit down with him live from Montreal, Mr. Malik Shaheed. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing, Mr. Ray?
Now,
Thanks for having me.
hey,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you for taking time to sit down with me. I know you're a man who's very busy, doing multiple things. Just to name a few, you're a host. You're a school commissioner. You're a RW and Co ambassador. There's so many. The word one of your nicknames is versatile, and I understand why. So
You gotta be, gotta be.
that's right. So I appreciate the time. So just to get started, so without a doubt, you're one of the pillars in rap's development in Montreal, without a
Yeah.
doubt. And, I think it's important to note that you're from Little Burgundy in Montreal, municipality that's known to have great entertainers. I'm thinking about Oscar Peterson, right? And we can name Oliver Jones as well. What does it
That's right.
mean to you to be from that little town, and what should it mean to us? Because it's a town that's very important. Tell us about Little Burgundy.
Yeah, so Little Burgundy is the Harlem of the North. That's what it used to be called. And it's a home where you had a lot of Black West Indians, a lot of Scotians, and it was right next to the train station. So a lot of American porters back in the early days would reside in Little Burgundy. And also, there was a movement of a lot of West Indians that came into Canada, and when they came to Montreal, they resided in Little Burgundy. And what's unique about Little Burgundy is that we also have the first Black community center in Quebec, which is called the Negro Community Center. It was called the Negro Community Center, and out of that center developed um, all the other Black community centers. So the South Shore, the NDG, Cotenay, just across the island of Montreal. And basically, you also had many jazz clubs back in the days. When I'm talking back in the day, I'm talking about in the 60s and the 50s. So you had a lot of major American artists coming through Little Burgundy, and just their charisma, their drip, their swag rubbed off on the people of Little Burgundy. And then also when there was a lot of student protest, Little Burgundy, because it was so centered and was so downtown, we were definitely involved in changing the lives of Black people in Montreal and Quebec.
It's such an amazing history, such a rich history, and I'm just left me wondering the first time I heard you speak about that on another platform. I was like, why don't we talk about this more often? Why is it not? What do you think that is?
It's a lack of sharing of information, and I think that we also let other media outlets and other cultures dictate our history, and that's a major problem in our communities, letting people dictate our history and our accomplishments.
So we all know you're a well-known figure in Montreal, pioneer.
Yes.
Um, you had a sense of very, entrepreneurship at a very early stage in your life. At 14, I believe you opened up your own barbershop in the basement. And,
Yes.
tell us, where'd you get that sense of that business mind so early?
Entrepreneurship. I mean, I grew up around hustlers, go-getters in my area. A lot of people took a different route, and I decided to take the straight route. And it just fell upon me just cutting hair. I started cutting my own hair, and then I started cutting my friends' hair, and then I started cutting people's hair in school, and then the barbershop just blew up in the community and the surrounding areas, and you know I was able to make a decent living in high school with the barbershop. I mean, so that was my first endeavor for entrepreneurship.
So from barbershop, and then, we all know, your famous events in Montreal with other
Yes.
legends in the area. So how did you get to that as well?
So in high school, I was part of the social committee. So the social committee's role was to organize events. So I was doing that in high school, and then when I got to college, I started organizing the first rap shows. One of the first rap shows, but uniquely the first rap shows where we had French rap and English rap together, and that was a big thing for me. Was trying to unite the English blacks and the French blacks because there's always a disparity. And what helped me with that is I was one of the first English guys to play on a Haitian basketball team, and playing on a Haitian basketball team really opened up my eyes to what Haitian culture was, and being able to be immune to the stereotypes that were consumed by a lot of the Anglophone blacks.
That's amazing what you're able to do, because I know I grew up my early stage in my life growing up in Montreal, and I know there were, this multiculturalism, but we didn't really there wasn't no interculturalism, right? So it's these
Yeah,
people on this side and those people on that side, and it's great that you're able
yeah.
to bring everyone together despite the different cultures, etc. So that's great. So this eventually led you to Music Plus. How did you what was that like for you? How did you go to Music Plus?
To make it good.
Yes.
So when I was doing the college rap shows, different promoters were coming to recruit me because back then, doing parties in downtown Montreal, you had guys like Romero, you had Fitz and Fabian, you had Ricky D,
Mm-hmm.
you had Keith and Karen. So everyone was trying to recruit me. It's sort of like going to a D1
Do you want
basketball
school?
school. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I made my final decision to choose Ricky D, who's a guy who grew up in Little Burgundy. And he basically molded me into being a promoter and producing events. And what happened was we were looking for different outlets to promote our events. So one day I went to Music Plus to the dance show Bouge de la. Gave them a flyer. Can you announce this? They announced it, and I kept on going back, but I kept on bringing dancers with me. You know what I mean? Just to show what the event would be about. So when the host would announce it, she would have my dancers around her dancing to show the vibe of the event. And then one day, the music director says, "Hey, Malik, I want to speak with you." So I think I'm in trouble. I did something wrong. He says, each time you come here, Malik, you bring a different vibe, a different energy. You bring beautiful people. Would you like to be a dance recruiter? Well, I got the hustle in me and the go getters in me. So, and I already had contacts in the club. So what I was doing was going to clubs, recruiting dancers to come on the show. I know nothing about dance, but I know how to hustle and get the job done. And that's what I think really Music Plus appreciated me for, was being able to get the job done. And I never forget, um, my director said to me, one of the things that she loves with me, and the reason I was able to have longevity on Music Plus is because I was low maintenance. You know what I mean? She didn't have to worry about me. I just did my job and made sure I did it to the best of my capabilities.
Definitely. I heard a story about you writing a letter to, I think it was a Ministry of Tourism of one
Okay.
Caribbean nation. Is that correct? And just to get you, I thought that. Can you break down that story for the people? I thought that was
Oh
an
yeah.
incredible story.
So the way it worked at Music Plus is the record labels would fly us out to do
Hmm.
interviews. So when I was going to LA to interview 50, or going to Toronto or New York to interview all these big
Hmm.
celebrities, it was record labels flying out. But I wanted to do something different. So, I wrote a letter to the Barbados Tourism Board. I wrote a letter to the Miami Tourism Board in order to fly us out to film their crop over. And at the time, Miami was doing some cool things, also festivals regarding urban music. So I was able to get a free trip, get a free hotel, free food, free everything. Myself, my cameraman, in these places.
Amazing.
So
So here's
yeah,
that sense of entrepreneurship and do it yourself type of thing. I love it. Um,
yeah.
so listen, being an anglophone working at Music Plus, did it come with challenges? Being a black anglophone in a francophone environment, how did you, if you did face challenges, how did you, rise above?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is coming from an Anglophone Black community.
Hmm.
There was a certain pride in terms of having respect for your culture, and certain Black jokes that weren't acceptable.
Hmm.
So, when I heard these jokes, like I was like, what's going on? And some of my French Black counterparts would be laughing along with them. And I'm like, no, 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 no. So, but I would explain to them that you can't you can't say those things. It's just not right to say those things. Um, and at the beginning it was tough because I was more anglophone, and there's certain French expressions that if you don't live in a French milieu, you won't know what those expressions
Hmm.
are. But what Music Plus really helped me understand was the French culture, and la culture
Hmm.
québécoise, and to understand that Montreal is unique. And once you leave the island of Montreal, there's nothing like it in Quebec. Quebec is totally different. And that's one of the things that a lot of Montrealers don't understand, especially when it comes to, elections, politics, decision making at the National Assembly, is that Montreal is very, very different to what goes on banlieue or région. So what happens in the regions and the outer cities and the outer countries. So it's really, really different. And I learned really how to appreciate French culture and really understand their vibe and their energy. So I think that's what really helped me at Music
Is this
Business.
something you sought after? You know what? I'm going to break into the French television market. Is this something that you always wanted, or just you stumbled upon, you it fell on your lap type of thing?
It, it fell on my lap when I was doing the promoting
Hmm.
of my parties, and the music director said, "Hey, I like your vibe, I like everything you do.
Hmm.
You want to become a dance
It's
coordinator?"
amazing.
So he hired me as a dance coordinator, and from there I became. They wanted to do a hip hop show, so I became a researcher on a hip hop show, and I suggested a couple of people. So like Isabella
Hmm.
Hasico, Marilyn Flack. These are people who I suggested to come and do auditions. They kept Marilyn, and from there I became a researcher on the R&B show Groove, and I just grew from there. And then I started doing reporting. And then once I started doing reporting, so I did an interview with a group in Toronto for Canadian Music Week. My boss said, okay, not bad, not bad. We have Wyclef in town. But I already had a report Wyclef because I was doing concerts with Wyclef in Montreal. So when I did the interview with Wyclef, they were like, wow, look at this energy, look at this chemistry. They never seen that before. Um, but my only weakness was my French was still weak. So, at that time I was going to take French courses. I was working along with the département de traduction. They would help me with a lot of stuff. I really made an effort to listen to French radio, listen to French TV, read French newspaper, to really immerse myself in that world, that francophone
That
world.
was amazing. Just to watch you, I used to tell my people, I was like, man, there's no hesitation, there's no this fearless type of attitude. Yes, okay, I'm an anglophone. There's an accent. You get over
Yeah.
that, and you understand what I'm saying, and that's it's something that's really that was phenomenal to watch. So you mentioned Wyclef. I know you
Yes.
have a lot of great interviews over the years. 50
Yes.
Cent, Pink,
Mhm.
I believe
Yes.
Beyonce, Jay-Z, and those are mega stars. Is there one
Yeah.
interview that stands out and why?
I think there's two interviews that stand out. First one was my 50 Cent interview. Um, I had a great report, 50. So we did a press junket in LA, and everyone was just focusing on you got shot 9 times, you got shot 9 times. But for me, I wanted to focus on who Curtis Jackson was. Who was that person? And just that rapport and that energy was so good that even Much Music ordered copies of my interview to air on Much Music because the interview was so dope, and 50 Cent appreciated it. And then the other interview was Eminem. So Eminem came to Montreal. I know the hip hop game. When they say, okay, your interview's at 6 o'clock, it's not happening at 6. So what happened was there's a whole bunch of press there. We're going to do the interview with Eminem, da 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 da. So, Eminem's management comes out. Eminem's not doing no interviews. I told my cameraman, you stay right here. We're getting that interview. And then about 2, 3 hours later, they said, yo, Malik, Em wants to do the interview with you. Boom. And we did the interview. And again, it was just great energy. Again, I didn't really um, focus on the negative part. I really want to know who he was. Who's Marshall Matters. So I think that was my uniqueness and my strengths was really connecting with artists and connecting with them on a vibe where when you look at the interview, you would think that I've known that artist for a very long time, where I just met them.
So you,
So I was able to really bring that vibe and that
so it's
energy.
just your approach. It's a conversation,
Yeah,
a respectful conversation, and now, what do you think about the current media landscape? Because obviously you left a big void for me. I think there's something that's missing out there. But what's your opinion about who we see on television right now, are present, and I'm talking about
yeah.
the Black community? Do you feel that we have a presence on television?
Um, So I don't watch TV that
Hmm.
much. But I would say from what I see, there is a lack of black presence, and of people who are real to the community. And when I say real, that kids in the hood will look up to them, where they can go to the hood and talk to the kids. I don't see that anymore. Very few. And I think that's missing, is that role model who's so successful that's able to really come into the hoods. I'm talking about real hoods, and go talk to those
Hmm.
kids, go on school tours. And that was my mission, was being a role model, being able to go to different schools, just not in the hoods, but across Quebec, just to talk to kids, just to be a positive influence. And even if I was only able to make a positive impact on one or two person, it's one or two persons that it's a life changing moment for them. I think the problem today is social media. It's all about clickbaits.
Hmm.
So it's all about ratchet questions a lot of times, controversial questions, and that's what attracts people today.
Sadly.
It's hard to find those interviews where you really get to sit down and really find out who that person is.
And
You
how
know,
do we get back to that? How do we fight this monster? To get back to a real conversation without all the theatrics that come with it, right? Just focus on talent and just a conversation. How do we get back to that? Is that possible?
um, it's tough, but that's something I'm working on. I'm looking to make a comeback in that landscape, that TV, that hosting landscape. So I'm looking on something that's going to interest people, but also educate them, but keep their interest. And that's really the challenge: is how do you keep them focused on the subject you're talking about? And I think I found a subject that will really keep people focused and engaged, and also being able to bring that Malik Shaheed personality. Because you see a lot of the hosts, they don't have that Malik Shaheed drip. They don't have that swag, and growing up in Burgundy, that's Burgundy gave me a certain drip, a certain swag, a certain charisma, a certain attitude. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
That you don't have because you didn't grow up
Yeah. Well, thank you for the scoop. I know you're going to make a lot of
there.
people nervous. Uh oh, Mr. Shahid's coming back.
So they've been nervous. They've been nervous from day one. It's incredible the amount of haterism that I was getting. Even though I was doing positive stuff, people would just hate on it.
Is that so?
You know?
Oh well.
They didn't understand that. I was like one of the pioneers of really, um, you know, doing these positive type of how would I say, positive types of workshops, positive types of of gatherings, and people didn't understand it back then. I was like really ahead of my time.
Definitely.
Now everyone does it. Everyone does it now. You know what I mean? But are they doing it for the right reasons? Some yes, and some are just doing it just to say, I did it.
Do you feel obviously you have a lot of you get a lot of respect from the community. Everyone knows what you've
Yeah.
done, but do you feel that you get the recognition you deserve in media for the
No,
things you've done?
no, not. That's just how Montreal and Quebec is. They'll never give you your due props. But like if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I like that.
And that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Just being able to still be relevant, to still have drip, to still have swag after so many years, to still have that energy. You know what I mean? So I look at it as a blessing that because Montreal was so hard, and they don't really show their true appreciation. Yeah, a lot of people do, but not as much as you would think. If I was in another city like in New York or in the U.S., like I would be like a mega star. Everyone knows me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then there's a lot of beaucoup de barrières, a lot of barriers here in Quebec. A lot of discrimination, a lot of racism. There's a ceiling for people that look like me. But I would say with the whole rest in peace, with the murder of George Floyd, rest in peace, George Floyd, there's been a change in terms of giving people like ourselves more opportunities. And this is why I'm stepping back into the arena. Because there's a little more opportunities right now, and I feel that I can do some
Well,
damage.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the work that you're going to do. And um, just earlier, you spoke about the community, and I know that's very
Yeah.
important to you. You
Mhm.
recently became a school commissioner. Can you tell me about
Yeah.
that and what led you
Yeah.
to this path?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a school commissioner at the Leslie Pearson School Board,
Hmm.
and a lot of times in our community, we just like to just complain, shout, go on social media and complain, but you're not really being proactive about it.
Hmm.
So, I was in a situation with the school board where a certain school and certain individuals are punking me off and punking my organization off, which is USTARS. USTARS is an organization that I'm the executive director of, and it was just blatant disrespect. And this is before the whole George Floyd thing. And this is, and just the way they were treating us like second class citizens. So, someone higher up said to me, you know what, you should become a school commissioner. I think you'd be a great school commissioner. But they saw the work I was doing in the community.
Hmm.
And, by becoming a school commissioner, I'm able to connect people who are having challenges to the right people at the administration level, or being able to go to the higher ups at the administration to get the right answers for the people who are struggling uh, with schools, school boards, just in general. So I'm really there to really give parents and students a hand in their journeys and their struggles. So that's why I became a school commissioner, because for me, I really enjoy helping out the youth and our future. Comme on dit en bon français, on est là pour appuyer la relève.
Voilà. Well, listen, it's much appreciated, and I know if you don't get the recognition, I have to say personally, thank you for all the things that you've done. It's really personally, it's been inspiring. I have to say to
Thank you.
see a
Appreciate that.
person that looks like us, on television, and doing all these wonderful things for the community. It's very important,
Yes.
and it's a good example to lead, to give to the next generation. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Shaheed, we thank you very much, and we'll look forward
Yeah.
to all
Thank
your
you.
activities. Can you tell the people where we can, follow your activities and where they can reach you, or, know what you're up to?
Yeah, on my website is malikshaheed.com.
Hmm.
So malikshaheed.com. You can hit me up on IG at Malik Shaheed. Also on my Facebook at Malik Shaheed TV. TikTok at Malik Shaheed TV. LinkedIn for business, Malik Shaheed. So just do a search Malik Shaheed and look for someone who looks like me. And,
That's awesome.
let's chop it
There
up.
you go. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you, and I appreciate everything you're doing, man. Great job.
Following great
All right.
examples.
All right. Thank you, man. Peace.